Hi students, in this video we'll go through the principal value branch and technique to remember it. Before getting into the problems, we will have to remember this table which gives the principal value branch. Now for each of the trigonometric functions, there is a principal value branch, right, or the range. For sine inverse, the range is between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. That is minus 90 to plus 90. So whatever values you get when there are sine inverse functions in an expression, the value should be within minus 90 degree to plus 90 degree. Similarly, whenever there is cos inverse functions in a trigonometric expression, then the value of that expression, then the value of this particular cos inverse function should lie within this range 0 to pi, that is 0 to 180 degrees. So whatever value you get for cos inverse function should be within this range 0 to pi. 0 to pi means it could be 45 degrees, 60 degree, 90 degree, 35 degrees. It could be anything. So anything within this range becomes a principal value. Similarly for cosec inverse. For cosec inverse function, the range is again same as sine inverse function, which is minus 90 to plus 90, same as sine inverse function except 0, right? What is cosec? Cosec is 1 by sine, right? So obviously the denominator you cannot have 0, right? If you have 0 in the denominator, it's going to become undefined. That's why 0 is removed from this particular range. Now similarly for sec inverse. Sec inverse is same as cos, 0 to pi. Tan inverse. Tan inverse is same as sine inverse, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Cot inverse is same as cos inverse, 0 to pi. So we will have to remember this table to solve any of the problems related to inverse trigonometric functions. Now the way to remember this, sine, cosec is 1 by sine, and tan is sine by cos. So these three functions will have the same range or same principal value branch, which is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And cos inverse, secant inverse and cot inverse. What is secant inverse? Secant inverse is 1 by cos. So cos inverse, secant inverse and cot inverse will have the same range, which is 0 to pi. There's another way to remember this, right? You can remember the first group as scot, right? So you have S, which is sine, and you have CO, which is cosecant, and you have T, which is tan. And the range for this is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. This is the principal value branch. Principal value branch for sine, cosecant and tan. So you can remember it as scot. CO is for cosecant. So scot, right? You can remember it this way. And the other group would be, obviously, it will be cos, secant and cot, right? So anything outside of this group becomes 0 to pi range. So this becomes the principal value branch. So if you remember this, you can remember the other group also, scot. So remember scot if it makes it easier for you. And next thing we'll have to remember is this trigonometric chart, right? All the values from 0 to 180 at least we'll have to remember, right, for us to solve these problems. So if you remember sine values, then you can get the cos values. From 0 to 90 degree, if you remember the sine values, in the reverse direction, you will have the cos values. So 1 root 3 by 2, 1 root 3 by 2, 1 by root 2, half and 0 in the reverse direction. And tan, of course, you can remember sine by cos. If you take sine by cos, you'll get tan values. Cot values is reverse of tan. Reciprocal of tan is the cot values. Cosecant is nothing but 1 by sine, right? 1 by sine would be cosecant. Secant would be 1 by cos. So all you have to remember is values of sine theta from at least from 0 to 180 or 0 to 90. So in this video, we went through the principal value branch and the technique to remember it. In the next video, we will solve the problems.